The company from which I bought carpet installed my carpet today, and as a consequence of their activity, we discovered something that we did not expect. That's been true of almost every project in this house, where when I've torn up what was presently constituted or tore into the walls and the structure, I have discovered things that I did not expect. In this case, underneath the carpet up here in the hallway, we discovered that there were what would, I guess, amount to some cheap, what do they call it, linoleum tiles, the ones that are about this big that you just stick down individually. The kind of thing that I would expect to see in a really cheap building or something that was commercial/industrial, where based on either the wear or the length of occupancy and the type of activity that occurs there, they don't put in the kind of flooring with a permanence. They put in something that's easily swappable. We have that at work. Our carpet at work is that square, and the bigger squares, carpet, where when one of the squares wears out, they simply rip it up, because it's basically just a sticker, and set a new one down in its place. I've seen that in doctors' offices and other commercial and industrial buildings, and so that's the kind of flooring that we had. Now the good news is that they had laid that out on top of the floor sheeting. Toward the end of my dog's life, he used to go around the corner there, and I could never figure out what he was doing, because I would come up and find him coming out of there, and I thought maybe he was trying to get into the room back there, which I usually keep shut. It's the guest bedroom, and I don't really have any reason to go in there on a regular basis, so I just assumed it was because he was curious about what was in there and why it was shut. And then shortly before he died, I got a black light to look for scorpions and discovered that he'd been going over there to urinate. Consequently, the linoleum squares became what Bob Ross would describe as a happy accident, or what I have discussed in previous writings as a blessing disguised as a trial. But I ripped this up, and when they tore the carpet out, I looked at it and thought, what is this? And ugh. But the crew that was doing it said this is actually a good thing, because it means that any of the pet accidents didn't go actually through the linoleum and damage your floor sheeting. There's a big problem in two-story houses when there's some sort of a liquid leak. You get water leak in the bathrooms, you get any kind of plumbing, a sewer, whatever. In the case of a dog, of pets, what you have is pet stains and urination. And so, in addition to damaging the floor coverings, sometimes it also damages the superstructure of the building. And because somebody at some point in the past put this awful looking linoleum down, they inadvertently protected this area, because this hallway up here is basically the only part of the house that was damaged by pet stains and pet activity. I am grateful for those kinds of things. I spent a lot of time in my life looking at things that are unexpected or unpleasant or undesirable and think, why is that there? And do I need to do something about it? The crew actually suggested that we just lay the new carpet right over the top of it, because it was before and nobody cared, and that it would continue to protect the floor in the case I got another dog and there were more accidents, because it runs the whole length of the hallway from bedroom to bedroom, and so it's there to protect the hallway in the event that water or other liquids that might penetrate into wood are spilled in that area, and provides a little bit of peace of mind. If I had known that was there, it would have bothered me less, aside from the stains, because I would have known that the floor was protected. Often in our lives, things happen, and we look at them and we view them based only on what we can see. All I could see is there were stains. I knew from the black light that there had been urine, that he had peed, and it's like 6 or 7 times over there in different spots of that, at the terminus of that hallway. And I looked at it and thought, after having torn the bathrooms up to tile instead of linoleum, I really wasn't looking forward to whatever water damage might have been caused Not to mention the fact that the only way to get pet stains out of wood is to take the wood out of your house. Consequently, this happy accident or blessing disguised as a problem arose and gave me some peace of mind moving forward in the event I get another dog and he follows suit, because they'll probably still smell like it, and you know how dogs are about peeing on the same place. So it means it won't the problem won't get worse. Even if another dog comes here, pees in the same spots, I'm not going to have to worry about damage to the house in terms of the flooring, because somebody at some point did something really unexpected that would have made the house look absolutely gaudy, but actually protects it from something that I didn't expect. Earlier this year, I had a very disappointing bit of news that came down the pike, and I struggle sometimes with blessings disguised as trials, because it just seems like I go from trial to trial, and the things that happen don't seem to have any direct correlation to where I recognize the blessings in them for many years, if at all. Years ago, I read a poem, probably when I was 15, 16, because that's when I got into poetry, called The Unanswered Prayer. And we sometimes complain and shake our fists at the universe and complain that God didn't answer our prayers or that He ignored us. And sometimes the things that we hope for may not be good for us. I know when I was praying about this particular bit of news, I did leave it up to the Lord, and if this is a good thing, if it's not a good thing, because I don't want to do something that's bad for me. But I was really hoping that it would be something that was good and that it would work out. And of course it didn't. That doesn't mean that I missed out on something good. And it also doesn't mean that I'm missing out on something better. Who knows but that something better is coming along, where if I had gone down this path, I would have missed another one. It's just frustrating because we don't know the future, and I don't know if anything good will come, and I also don't know what would have happened if this other path had opened up. All I can say is that I go from disappointment to disappointment, and I hope that one day when the carpet of my life is ripped up, that maybe I will understand the linoleums beneath it that were meant to protect me from harm. But even though they were things I don't understand, I have no idea why you would do that. I've never seen it before, and neither had the people who laid my carpet, and the one guy has been doing this for 35 years. It was ugly, it was unexpected, and yet it turned out to be something that was very good in terms of both my immediate and my long-term interests in this house. Are the things that happen that are unexpected and undesirable actually beneficial for your long-term prospects in your life? I can't say. It's something that I hope. We all hope for a peaceful and happy life. We hope for good things to come. Hope is something that we build up over time, and it gives us courage and strength to try again, to trust again, to love again, to make another effort. Because we do get knocked down a lot. Some of us more than others, but I don't think anyone is never knocked down. What concerns me sometimes is the people who go seemingly from unbroken success to unbroken success, where things always seem to come up roses, because you look at it and think, well, that didn't happen for me. I have had some good luck. It is not the luck I wanted. I was able to get this house at a very discounted price. You would have been hard-pressed to find a house for this price at the time that I bought it. That doesn't mean it was impossible, but at the time I moved in, it had been freshly painted, and the flooring was, the flooring that was bad, like this carpet, had been replaced. It wasn't like super awesome, great job, but I don't know if you can see, there's probably visible some marks on the ceiling. Excuse me. Where when I painted the walls, I went up too far because I did it myself. And so maybe it's probably not any worse than the job that was there before, but now it's new and it's fresh and I did it and I know where the mistakes are. And since I've now seen underneath all the flooring and I've seen behind some of the walls and I've seen some of these areas, I know a little bit more about the house and I'm a little bit more at peace. I've also been able to, as I've torn into things, being able to correct things that were previously bad, mostly just because over time things need to be repaired or replaced, to where none of my toilets teeter anymore. There is still one that when you get up off of it, the water flows in, even though you haven't flushed it yet. It's sort of bizarre and I haven't figured it out yet, but just, it's one of those things that isn't that important, and it hasn't caused any damage, and so I'm just letting it go. And that's really what a lot of the trials are that I go through. They haven't caused any damage. I am very happy to be able to say that 2020 hasn't been a bad year. There have been some disappointments and frustrations, but what it really amounts to for me is that good things didn't happen. I haven't had any bad things happen to me. It's just that good things I was hoping or expecting or desiring to happen this year have not materialized because of forces usually beyond my control. Of course, I have nothing to do with viral outbreaks or the governor's office. I don't make decisions about curriculum, about whether or not the campus is closed. I don't make decisions about the budget. And even the job for which I applied where I didn't get an interview, I don't make those determinations either. All I do is do the best I can to prepare and present the best I can, and then I leave it in the hands of others. I look at other people and think, boy, if karma's a real thing, you must have been awesome in a previous life, and I must have been mediocre at best. Because some people just go from one thing to another, and it just seems to come up roses for them. I have a friend, and his, just as an example, his wife picked him years ago, even though at the time they met, he didn't have a job or even have a place to live. And she's a good-looking, motivated, intelligent, capable woman who at least knows how to cook. She hires a maid to clean the house, but she makes a contribution. And she's intelligent and attractive. And I'm like, but that kind of thing, I can't see that ever happening to me, and I don't know why it happened to him. Clearly, I wasn't as good in a previous life, assuming, of course, you believe in reincarnation or whatever. Or even in my dogma, where we believe that our birth here on Earth was a transition from the world we were in before, and that our death is a transition to the life we'll have after. We just believe they're elsewhere and not reincarnations here. So I struggle. But I trust that some things like this linoleum are happy accidents, blessings disguised as trials, blessings disguised as what were they thinking moments, because there are things in my life, I like my life. And so the trials notwithstanding, I'm not grateful for them per se, but I'm grateful for where I am as a consequence of the decisions I made during the trials that arose. I really wish I could have learned those lessons without the suffering and the struggle, but I don't think that's how it works. And I would have had to have some sort of difficulty in order to arrive at a better place. And I am in a good place, and I am grateful for it. And so, by some extension, I must be grateful for the path that I took, even if I'm not grateful for all of the scenery. Not to belabor the point too much, and I'll leave you with this. Back on the wall behind me is a picture of my dog, and I acquired him under inauspicious circumstances. Then I had to redeem him again from being put to death. And despite the money that cost me, it was probably the best financial decision I've ever made in my life. I did the math once years ago, or last year sometime, and told my dad, because it was funny, he cost me less than 67 cents a day. If you stretch out everything I ever paid on him, that's less than a cup of coffee. And you'll hear that a ton on TV. It costs less than a cup of coffee a day. And I had this friend who lived in this house with me and who thought I was the bee's knees. And I know I'm not. But the costs, the struggle, the trials in getting him to this place made it possible for him and I to make this home. And so I am grateful for that path. Because if not for those things, he would have never been here, and my life would be markedly different. Last May, when he died, I began what's my new normal. It has nothing to do with the virus. That I don't think is going to make a new normal for me. I have a new normal that is vacuous and unsettling. Being here alone and missing somebody that I loved and that I lost. Because for the first time in my adult life, I lost somebody who actually I know loved me back. I can't say that about the people that I've known, But I can tell you with 95% confidence that when he died, I lost somebody who cared about me too. And that having someone around who cared about me was wonderful, all the trials and tribulations notwithstanding. So I look at the linoleum-covered flooring of my life now as I feel like the carpet that has cushioned the blow has been ripped away and think, well, it's not what I wanted, it's not what I expected, but maybe there is a happy accident in it, and maybe it is exactly what is necessary for God to protect me from things that would have caused me damage, and to provide a good foundation for the new things that will be installed on top of it. And I had a great installation crew. They were a little on the weird side, but they were good hard workers, they were decent individuals, they took time to explain what they were doing and talk to me, and so it was a good day. And now I'm glad to have my house back to myself. But I miss him. So maybe as the subfloor of your life is exposed, maybe there's something good coming without it, and without that subfloor, it would have been a bad foundation for a good thing that is to come. I like my carpet. You probably can't see it from here even if I showed it to you. I like what it has become. And so maybe, just maybe, my life will follow the pattern of my carpet, and there'll be something good down the road. That is my hope for me. It is my hope for you. May God speed all of your righteous efforts, protect you, and take care of you as you try to do what is right and trust in His grace, His wisdom, and His timing. Take care.